A good night's sleep is one of life's great pleasures. Share a moment with me. Close your eyes. Picture yourself warm and cozy in your bed, drifting gently into blissful sleep. Good night. Sleep tight. And bam, you open your eyes and suddenly you notice them, tiny black specks smaller than apple seeds, creeping and crawling across your bed. Your heart starts racing and you think, who let the bedbugs out? Plump, red, and juicy, filled with your blood, they scurry away as you turn on the lights. You hit one and blood spurts out. That was actually my experience. I was traveling far from home at a hotel. That was my first experience running face to face with these bloodthirsty vampire bugs. I like to call them vambuggers. Now, some of you may have been feeling just a little itchy or queasy just listening to this. That's because bedbugs attack your mind as much as they attack your body. Their bites cause skin reactions, and their presence can have psychological effects and cause sleepless nights. The first time bedbugs kept me awake at night was actually a different time. I remember it. It was the first time I actually had a conversation about them. And I actually had never given much thought to bedbugs until then. It was actually the year before the Olympics. My friend in university, actually, I was having an argument about the Olympics, and he argued that bedbugs were going to be a side effect, an epidemic that would come to our city, just like they'd been in other cities that hosted the games. And he argued that there was very little that we could do about them, because they had become resistant to all of the chemical pesticides, and there was nothing natural that works against them. Now, as a biologist, I actually couldn't believe there was nothing natural that these bugs would be susceptible to. Nothing? That made no sense. I became curious and fascinated with bedbugs and this problem. Bedbugs have actually been around since the dawn of time. Not many of you may know this, but the word bug actually first referred to bedbugs. And archaeologists have actually found fossils, very small fossils, of bedbugs in Egyptian dwellings dating as far as 3,500 years ago. Bedbugs moved to humans from bats, and they've been driving us batty ever since. I know. For those of you who've had them, you probably know all too well what they look like. For the rest of you, here's one crawling on the screen, just having freshly laid some eggs on that quarter. Bedbug eggs are tiny. They look like the grains of rice beside the quarter. They're about 100 times smaller. And they're glued down where they're laid. And they're even stickier than rice. And they transport very easily. And just one female bedbug once inseminated, lays 3 to 7 eggs every single day for 4 to 6 weeks straight. So if you were to just have one female bedbug crawl into your fancy Gucci bag or lay a few eggs on that suitcase you just won as you traveled around, or you put that quarter, well, it's not on the screen anymore, but if you put that quarter and without knowing, you put that in your pocket, you brought them home, you could end up with an entire infestation and a huge headache. A headache that costs the world billions a year to get rid of and defend against, not to mention all the beds and belongings that just get tossed out and replaced because people don't want to have anything to do with them after they're infested. And bedbugs are everywhere. Today, 1 in 5 Americans say they've encountered bedbugs. That's over 60 million people in the US alone. And around the world, bedbug populations are doubling each and every year. In fact, one prominent bedbug researcher commented, there's really only two types of people: those that have had bedbugs and those that will yet get them. We're living in a time where they're becoming much more common. And if you do get them, short of tiny wooden stakes, bedbugs are almost impossible to get rid of. That's because none of the over-the-counter chemical pesticides work. Because over 90% of common bedbugs now have a mutation making them resistant to all of the common insecticides. And current natural products require direct contact spray, and even then they're iffy. And bedbugs hide at night, so it's just about impossible to find and spray each bedbug and their egg. This has given natural products a bad reputation. And nothing is really effective against their eggs, which is one of the biggest problems in their spread. And eggs take about 2 weeks to hatch. So every couple of weeks, you have more company. As I grappled with this challenge, my thoughts kept coming back to nature. Over the 20th century, instead of trying to learn from nature, we engineered synthetic chemicals to fight against nature. Synthetic pesticides are a byproduct of chemicals that were designed for warfare. And most chemical pesticides are neurotoxins. And we all have similar neurology. It's just that because we're much bigger than the bugs we're trying to kill, we've accepted doses we thought represented low levels of toxicity around us. And we've been through this before. Now, we don't spray DDT on our kids like we used to, but we still use synthetic chemicals. This is true. We still use synthetic chemicals and pesticides for many things. We felt like it's the choice we have to make to support our modern lifestyles, to keep bugs out of our homes and off our beds, and to grow our food so that we have enough to eat. But these synthetic defenses have major problems. Resistance has made them ineffective, almost useless against some pests like bedbugs. And the collateral damage may be more than we expect. But more than that, I believe that nature rarely gives us a problem that nature herself cannot solve. A friend of mine in the industry quotes this in her email signature. All the pests that out of earth arise, the earth itself, the antidote supplies. Today, we're rediscovering that biological defenses that evolved from nature are far more sophisticated and enduring than what man has been able to engineer. One of the most amazing are those evolved by the Neem tree. Neem is a beautiful, tropical evergreen tree native to India, where it's known as the village pharmacy. It's been used for thousands of years in human health and medicine, and hair care and skin care and even dental care. In fact, I'm actually 80 years old. I just use neem every day. And neem trees are amazing because they've survived and thrived in some of the most difficult and harsh environments, and evolved extraordinarily sophisticated natural defenses in the process. Neem extracts have been tested against several household pests for decades as well, and even bedbugs. But its effectiveness was often mediocre and inconsistent. A major problem with biological extracts is that, and solutions from biological and plant-based sources is that work in a non-toxic mode of action like neem, is this issue. Their performance can be spotty, and they're too quickly written off as snake oils. I wanted to get to the bottom of why and found 3 key problems. 1, extracts are complex mixtures, oftentimes with poor characterization and consistency. Active materials biodegrade and break down too quickly when they're exposed to the elements. And the active molecules in extracts are just simply too big to penetrate into the pests to be effective, like bedbugs. And bedbugs are actually one of the most difficult pests to penetrate because they have an extraordinarily thick skin. So we focused on the last issue. We wanted to find out if we could penetrate the thick outer cuticle of bedbugs, could we use something like neem, a biological solution, and make it work more effectively? And it turns out, yes, we can. We solved this problem with molecular delivery systems, a technology and method inspired from pharmaceuticals to allow natural materials to shuttle through the insect's protective barriers into bugs, cells, and even into eggs. We call this technology Inspirium. And we've shown proof positive we can get 100% control over bedbugs and their eggs. Now, while you can buy neem oils, skin creams, neem soaps, neem toothpaste even, at health stores, currently neem-based sprays for pest management are only available in the United States. But hopefully, with the support of governments and demand by people, they'll be coming to Canada and other countries soon. In the meantime, if you have bedbugs or you're scared of them, there are still some actions you can take now to help protect yourself from bedbugs. The obvious thing is don't let them make home in your home. So here's a few tips. Before you dream, check the seams. When you're staying away from home, pull up the sheets and look for bedbugs or signs of them, like the tiny black marks that look like India ink stains, which are actually bedbug poop. Pay particular attention to the seams and along the piping of the mattress. Number 2, create a moat around your sleep boat. By this I mean a barrier around the areas you sleep or rest. So you can do this in 2 ways. Get some food-grade diatomaceous earth, also known as DE. DE is a dust that comes from crustacean shells. Dust a small amount in cracks and crevices, seams, wall voids, and around your bed. And second of all, use interceptor traps. Not the sticky kind with glue, those don't do anything. What you want are the saucer kind. If you have a bed with legs, get sturdy ones and put one under each leg of the bed. And number 3, dry them to fry them. Heat kills bedbugs, but you do need to get the heat up and the temperature up to about 50 degrees Celsius. That's about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So the dryer is your friend. So wash and especially dry your clothes using the hottest setting that's safe for your fabrics, especially after you travel. Finally, do your homework and find treatments that are safe and that work. While there are few options in this category, that's finally changing. With effective plant-based treatments and technology that penetrates, we can create a protective natural shield against bedbugs and their eggs, and more effectively get rid of infestations. With technology like Inspirium, we have seen we can actually disinfest and clean mattresses and belongings in 24 to 48 hours flat. So we can use this to clean up all kinds of things that too often just get tossed away because they've gotten infested with bedbugs and people don't want to use them. And we can stop that unnecessary waste. We finally created a way to break through the membrane of these once impenetrable pests. And once we figured out how to penetrate neem through bedbugs, one of the toughest pests to penetrate, and it worked, we began to try this against other pests, like dust mites and ants, but also against pests that attack other things like grains and plants and the food we grow. We can apply Inspirium technology to allow neem and other natural materials to protect us against nuisances and public health pests. And we can also use a similar approach against bugs and diseases that affect plants and destroy crops on farms. And we can live a healthier life as a result. And it all started with bedbugs. So now what keeps me up at night is a dream of building a world where we can protect our homes, our bodies, and our food without risking our health or the environment. A world where we can live in healthy, safe environments, free of toxic chemicals, in a world where we can eventually make sustainable and organic farming more productive than farming with conventional chemicals. Thank you. And I believe we can do this by harnessing the power of nature and natural defenses with innovations and technology that enables them to work more efficiently. I believe innovations like Inspirium give proof it's possible to fulfill our economic and our social needs and do so in harmony with our health and our earth. And I believe that one day we will see the end of using unnecessary toxins in our homes and in our environments. And I believe one day soon we'll see the end of being terrorized by unwanted, bloodthirsty bedmates. And I believe that soon our families may no longer even remember the end of the nursery rhyme that once tucked us into bed. They'll only know good night, sleep tight, the end.